welcome everyone. You're doing awesome. Today we've got the Founders Blind Spots, hosted by Johar.
Hi.
I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm mispronouncing it most probably. An expert in his industry, as he started his first business at the age of 8 and has been in the entrepreneurial space ever since. I'm specifically focusing on marketing and psychology. So yeah, I'm gonna open the space for him to go up.
How are you guys? Anyway, I would love to make this podcast, you can say, whatever you want to call it, as short and as valuable as I can. Like, even Jay can actually relate to this. Like, every single question he asked me, I tell him, make it as much valuable as possible. I don't want to make it just for me. I want to make it actually for the people who are actually listening. So I can promise you, by the end of this podcast or the interview, you will get a lot of valuable information just by listening. And also, we can make sure after the end of what is it called? Like the end of the interview, we can actually make it kind of like a Q&A. So everybody who can ask me his first question or any question he wants based on his situation, and I would love to be able to kind of like, if I can actually answer it, because I've not been in the business space since 2 years. I've been probably 12, 14, 15, I don't know actually, like since 8 years old. And yeah, give me a question if you want.
Definitely love to. So let's talk about the fact that you made this title, the Founder's Blind Spot. What's the biggest blind spot, the biggest mistakes you usually see in first-time founders? What's the first thing that pops up? What comes to mind?
I actually wrote 14 things. I wrote the top 14 every trap first-time founder actually faces. I will explain them after just the taglines or the headlines. Number 1, which is falling in love with the title, not the work, and over-planning on Notion, consuming endless content without applying it, not hiring co-founder at all, or just hiring cool friend, falling for trendy routines instead of real work, isolating yourself instead of building a network. I actually wrote them over there so I can actually explain them later. Hiring top talent too soon, chasing passive income too early, thinking about retiring before even building anything, trying to fire yourself too early, by automating or hiring a lot of people, treating business money as personal money, and learning from the biggest companies to how to run business, hiring too many people before defining their day 1 to day 90 task, also falling in love with the idea, trying to serve niche that you do not even care about. This is actually, like, you can say every single business owner or first-time business owner, he fall in this trap 100%, especially for the first-time founders. Like for me, every single time I speak with somebody, he immediately, I'm a CEO, I'm a CTO, I'm a CFO, I'm a whatever. They do not actually know what CEO even means, or CTO, or whatever it is. Like, they just, before they even tell me about their name, I'm a CEO of X and Y and Z company. Good job. But how many clients do you have again? I've never actually called myself a CEO until I started actually speaking with investors, hiring probably 20 people, etc. Till this day, okay, you can call me a CEO, but till this day, I actually see it as I'm a founder, etc. Why? Because being a CEO, when you look at actually biggest companies in the world, this is what CEO even means. So a lot of people just fall in love with the title instead of actually doing what CEO actually do. They think if they automate everything, they hire every billion different person by internship or whatever, and they do nothing, this is what CEO actually is. And sadly to say it, this is the most trap I actually see. Like, a lot of people try to open a business or become a CEO just to do nothing, by actually falling in love with the Instagram trend. Oh, I have endless businesses under my name and I just work 2 hours a day. This is, it's literally, sorry, but it's literally stupid. Also, over planning on Notion. It takes a lot of time on planning on Notion. I have nothing wrong against planning on anywhere. Matter of fact, I plan my whole entire week in pencil and paper. Not task by task, but what I actually do, one day I actually was seeing one of my friends. He was basically planning probably 2 or 3 hours. Like, planning just what happened yesterday. Kind of like, DM 25 people, click it, send, or whatever. So I look at it like he's actually over spending time on just making his Notion act like productive instead of just being productive. That every single person I've seen actually fall in love in this trap, And of course, consuming this content without applying it. Everybody loves the word of I read books or I watch podcasts or whatever. instead of actually watching or instead of actually doing it. For me, yes, I used to have this kind of addiction, or let me read 10 books a day or whatever, acting like I'm actually consuming content. But let's be clear, I did not even apply anything of it. Why? Because I was in love of reading book, entertaining myself by watching a podcast, watching Alex Hormozy or whatever it is, acting like, yeah, I'm doing good for my business. But no, I was literally wasting time. And a lot of people in this, especially in the States, I would say it, they actually like to lie to themselves instead of actually doing something important. I believe also hiring co-founder, and not hiring co-founder is self-explanatory. Also falling in love with a trendy routine, cold plunge, etc., etc. I'm not being scientist proven or whatever, but also those things takes a lot of your time. Especially you are first-time founder, you just want to do your work. You just want to, let's say, today I want to sit down, I want to actually write down what's going to happen after 1 or 2 weeks, every single task. That's fine, but not actually over being obsessed with my Notion look pretty, so other people think I'm productive. A lot of them try to have kind of this weird daily routine that takes probably 3, 4, 5 hours a day, and that's kind of like also dumb. Let's say it. And about hiring top talent too soon, it's like for me, when I want to hire somebody who's actually in the top of his space, for me, I've hired people who are in Apple, who used to work in Yahoo, who used to work in Xbox, etc. When you speak to them, yes, they care about money. Everybody likes money. Even if you have the money to actually hire them, they might actually disagree to hire you, to work with you. I mean, because for them, they care about their name. Because like, put yourself in his shoes. I was working on Apple. Why would I even work with you and just for a salary? No, I want to work with you just to actually build actually name, an actual proven record of actual work, and some money if you can actually provide him money. Some people cannot actually provide money for the people who is actually in the top talents. So what I recommend, instead of hiring executives or people who actually lead your team, I totally believe you should hire executors. In this stage, you're not in a position that you can actually think 2 or 5 or even 10 years ahead. In this position, you are just in a position of, let me look what I can do in today or after a few days and plan it. Try as much as I can to actually make my team execute everything without even trying to think for the next 10 years. Because yes, it's good to think about what's my end goal, but when you over plan, etc., like most of the time the business plan goes like in the trash. Why? Because what resources you have right now is not the actual resources you have after probably 2, 3, 5 months. That's why I usually, especially in the early stages, you should not hire people who are thinking or even better than you. In this position, you just need to hire task executors. Just give them this task. They can actually put something in their CV. And not only that, they can actually learn from you because you're the smartest person. Yes, I know every single Instagram reel you see telling you should not be the smartest person in the room, but in the early stages, you should actually handle this by just hiring people who actually do the work, kind of like other hands. What else? Chasing passive income too early. Passive income, I totally believe you cannot think about passive income until you have $1 million in your bank account. A lot of them start thinking about, oh, let me work 2 hours a day, or how can I actually make money while asleep? That doesn't even come right now. Probably even Alex Hormozy, the one that everybody is looking at, till this day, probably he doesn't have fully passive income stage. Why? Because till this day he's building things, he's working on things, he have to be active in things, etc. And he have proven record of many millions of dollars. So a lot of people start trying to think about, how can I actually fire myself and just work 2 hours, 1 hour, or whatever, the least amount of hours a day, and they call it as a flex. To just think of passive income. No, you should be available 24/7 for your clients, for your team, for your even work in general. And one of the most controversial thing, I believe, which is learning business from the biggest business people in the world, because they run their businesses. Yes, we learn from them, but we cannot actually keep learning from these people. Why? Because their stage is way different than our stage. For me, when I used to work with, I've worked with Samsung. The way they actually manage their team, etc. It's something incredible. I've learned a lot from them. And when I started building Dimados, I said, you know what, I will make my team run like it's $1 billion company. The way, like after a few days, I saw like nothing is working. Why? Because their sources is way different and their stage is way different than someone who's still in the business not too long ago. So what you should learn from is literally the people who was small business owners and recently they become a medium-sized business owner. That's it. This is the most valuable lesson you can actually have, which is from them, because they're not too long ago was small businesses. I believe that the rest is literally explained by the title. So yeah.
That is definitely awesome to hear. I go into depth, especially with how the first time founders, they come in and like, yeah, I need a website, I need a logo, I need to brand my car, I need to get a company computer and what. And they haven't actually done the work, they haven't even got clients. That's definitely something a couple of us has been personally struggling with. I spot here a question that Ophir has is, what's the biggest mistake you kept on repeating? Something that's been repetitive over times.
You mean for me or for most people?
I would say for you as well as what others have experienced.
For me, I used to actually fall in love with the title. I used to go to any single person. I'm a CEO of Creative Influencer, my past marketing agency. I'm a CEO, etc. And then start actually introducing my name. Or actually something that I also face a lot, which is hiring too many salespeople on commission. Which is, yes, it's good to hire salespeople. I'm nothing, like there's nothing wrong into it. But when you hire somebody who's still new, you have to train him and you have to give him a lot of time, a lot of tasks, etc. So you can actually see him that yes, he's working. But when you hire a lot of people, suddenly you start actually losing track, of course. So, and not only that, especially in remote, like every single remote business, you cannot actually see the person if he's working or no. You just rely on trust. So I used to give them scripts, etc. But I used to think that they should actually care about the business and they should actually work as much I used to work. And of course no, because he's just someone. I just called him and told him, hey, how about you become a salesperson with me? And that's it. It was kind of like a motivated speech. And yeah, that thing actually taught me a lot. That I should. Yes, of course, I love the idea of having probably 100 employees, etc. But if you have 5 employees or team members, let's say, and these team members are actually doing good, is way better than just having billion different persons that you barely remember their name.
Yeah, no, awesome. So now speaking of which, on the same topic, what's a mistake that you've seen others do also? Or would you say that's about the same thing that others constantly do as well? They head straight into, let me hire 10 people, including my cousin, to do sales, and then they end up actually not performing because you can't designate topics to them. Would you say that's about the similar issue that new founders have been having?
Yes, because when you fall in love with the word CEO, you immediately want to start hiring people. I don't know, it's genetics. I don't know why. So when you actually just become the CEO and you will actually become obsessed of, let me have the biggest team ever in day one and try to manage everybody and try to, work as little as possible. That's what everybody try to do. So what for me is just kind of like lower your standards. It's fine. Try to actually become the person who actually do all of this work. Like you are the CEO, you are the what is it called? The CTO, whatever other headlines. Not only that, you are probably the barista in your company. It's fine. In the early stages, you should do all the things and you should be able to actually do everything by yourself, at least by 10%. Of course, when you hire people, they will do it way much better than you. But I'm trying to say as you should do everything at the start by yourself. If you can have a co-founder, that will be perfect. Both of you can do a lot of things together, as he probably do the technical side and you do the other side, probably marketing or whatever. It's going to be way much better than just immediately going to hire, etc. Because basically, when you don't know their day 1 task and their day 90 task, because most of the time you are first-time founder, you're going to hire interns. You don't have money to actually hire people who are actually good. So you're probably going to hire people to just put in their resume that they have worked with companies so they can get employed other places. And that's completely fine. But when you are lost and you don't know what the whole entire shape is going to look like, or their day one tasks should be X and Y and Z, and what I'm going to expect from them, here's everything start actually become confusing, you can say. So they can, like, the team member will not even try to probably respond to your emails, etc. So yeah, it will become messy.
So I wanted to jump in and ask you a little bit about your background. I'm going to combine 2-3 questions which I've seen in the VC chat and what I'm curious about too is, you have mentioned you started your entrepreneurial journey at the age of 8. What was it like? What were you doing at that time? And compared to then 8-year-old Johar versus today's Johar, what is the difference between your processes? How are you doing things differently in your business now?
Look, I'll be honest with you. When I was 8 years old, I didn't even know that I have a business or whatever. What I used to sell in general when I was 8 years old is basically, yes, of course, like what I used to sell, like as long as I am making money, it's a business. But I didn't have the idea of, oh, I'm making a business. I was selling everything I can put my hands on, literally. Toys. Do you see the McDonald's toys that they gave you in Happy Meal? Yeah, I used to sell them. Matter of fact, that I used to sell used balloons. It works, okay? I used to also rent some, do the rental, what is it called, bicycle. I didn't have the mentality of, oh, it's a business or whatever. I had it in a way that, okay, I'm in a survival mode, that's it. Because nobody actually works at 8 years old when he is comfortable. You get the point? So basically, in the position I was, and my family was, when I was 8 years old, it was really bad situation. So the first thing that comes to your mind is not, I want to build a business. No, you just want to, how can I make the first dollars right now, buy now? So that's what my mind was. Not something like, oh, I want to become an entrepreneur or whatever. I didn't even know what's even the word entrepreneur even means back then. The only thing that I know is I want to make money today. I can eat, so me and my family eat together. So that's the idea, because it was a survival mode. Now for me it's way different, because I actually, everything you can say, I have a bigger knowledge, and of course when you speak with a lot of people, you learn a lot of things from them. And when you start actually speaking with people who has ranks in the country or whatever, let's say investors or whatever, the way you start actually talking is way different than a few years ago. Why? Because like you start actually speaking, you actually know how to what everything that you want to do before you even want to do it. So I believe I've answered your question, if I'm not wrong, about the difference between Johar 8 years old when he was 8 years old and right now.
That was perfect.
So then another comment from Vanya. She said, if you've got a big sales team, it helps to have SOPs. Now that also begs the question, how do you feel about SOPs? If you've got a bigger team, standard operating procedures, do you feel that's something that helps delegate a founder to his employees and team?
Those operating words, SOP, etc., I usually listen to them, like I hear them not from a first-time founder or a business that is especially in the early stages. Usually someone who actually understands what is he doing. So when you are in this stage, I don't know her stage actually, to actually answer you. But a lot of people, let's say if she's first time and she's still probably doing her first 1, 2, 3 sales, etc. No, like don't think about trying to use all of the systems or trying to do all of these things. No, what I can tell you is go right now, go to, let's say, your target audience and by yourself try to sell them without even thinking about, let me try to automate salespeople and then try to think about myself. Because at the early stages you will become, you are way more productive than having a bigger team. That's what I have actually faced for me. Because when you have a team, you will always rely on them, especially in the early stages. But for them, they don't even care, to be honest with you. Like, okay, yes, he sales, yes, he have work, etc. Because probably you are hiring him as a commission-based only. And probably it's low ticket or medium ticket, so it's not big of a deal for him if he sold or no. For you, it's kind of like hunger. I have to do everything by myself. So, but for me, at the first probably 2 years, if I'm not wrong, in the agency, I used to do the cold calling part, and then I used to do the closing, and then I used to do the sales, and then I used to do the PR. Why? Because you start moving very fast. This is your own product. And then after I become actually, I have no time for sales, etc. Here, yeah, I can tell you, go start thinking about operating systems, SOPs, etc.
Oh, that's interesting. I definitely think that makes sense in a perspective to stop trying to build systems and rather build the product and sell it. That 100% makes sense. Thank you for sharing that. That's fire, man. So another question that Ophir is asking is, how was your experience when you started your last business versus when you started your first official business? What was the difference, the key differences between those two?
I'll be honest, starting startup is way different than agency. I had an agency, okay? Literally way different. The idea is, when you are an agency, everything, yes, as much as it moves fast, but still you, like, there's a lot of time. Like, let's speak about hiring. When I used to hire somebody, let's say I made his interview right now, the first interview, probably the second interview after 1 or 2 weeks. And then I will give him the contract after 1 or 2 weeks, after, like, even if I know the answer. And the way we operate was way different, because like that's what every single business, professional business was. Probably like it was working with us, yes. But when you are in a startup stage, you are literally moving as fast as possible. Because like for me, okay, I want to listen to, let's say, Google Play and Apple Store rules. They release new rules every single probably week or two. So we are trying to kind of, how can I say it? If it was technical, you are trying to write the whole entire code before the new release of rules become release, I mean. So you are literally moving not 2x speed, you're literally moving 100x speed. One time I was speaking with someone, I was trying to speak with an investor, I mean. And when I told them, yeah, I had an agency, etc., this type of thing, and right now I'm building a startup. It was really weird, what is it called? Advice that he gave me, but it actually taught me a lot, which is build a startup that you know that you're not going to publish it, just to actually know what startup is all about. Yes, I did. It was really weird product that I actually built, hiring all this team, etc. But before I even published the app, I did understand what he mean, which is literally agency is way different than startups because of the speeds. Exactly, that's what I mean.
No, awesome, man, awesome. And then another question, you mentioned something earlier, I'm not sure if you recall, about co-founders, having the right co-founder and being able to form kind of a culture with them and starting from that point. Now, a lot of us here, including myself, are either in the process or considering or have in the past considered to get a co-founder to assist with the business. So in your opinion, how does one go about that? How does one choose a co-founder? How does one set roles? How does one figure out personality and skill sets in a co-founder? If that question makes sense.
Look, when you are hiring a co-founder, like usually, like if I want to have a co-founder, it should be a friend or someone who's in my family. For me, why? Because if I do not trust you with my money, etc., why would I even put you as a co-founder? A lot of people on the internet have, like, usually say, don't hire your friends and family because the relationship is going to be broken or whatever. No, it's wrong. Why? Because if your friends and family is not going to be in your back to actually stand up with you in a worse stages in your life, etc., who's going to stand? You get the point? And also, probably, let's say, because like we do not choose our family, okay? Probably somebody had bad relationship with his family, so okay, you cannot hire them. It's fine. But you choose your friends. Let's talk about the trust part. I'm talking about right now the trusting part. And about the skills part, every single person, he look at his, let's say, friend, let's say, okay, I want to have him as a co-founder. They usually try to have him as, okay, I'm a technical person, let me have my friend, he's really great at technical skills. No, he should not be even technical at all. Why? Because if you are technical and he's technical, who's going to do the other sides? For me, yes, I have technical knowledge, which is really small technical knowledge. That basically it's vibe coding. But my friend has really huge amount of technical side, and for me, I have the sales marketing side. He doesn't know anything about sales and marketing, and that's completely fine. So with between me and him, we should actually kind of, like you can say, complete each other, not challenge each other on who's doing his technical side is better. You get the point? So that's what I see in a co-founder. If he does the same skills and same tasks as you, we are literally just kind of challenging each other, not actually building something. Because at the end of the day, you need to hire somebody to actually do the other sides that you do not know how to do, probably sales or whatever.
That's powerful, man. I've seen a lot, even myself with the previous company, I made that mistake, and I've heard a lot of stories, especially in furlough, about people making that same mistake. Asking like, hey, I need a co-founder, someone specifically in ABC, and many of them tend to say, oh no, the co-founder hopped off, he's no longer aboard. So that's definitely powerful what you're mentioning. I think right about now, if there's anyone with questions that they want to pop out and also ask directly to Johar, you're more than welcome. I see Ophir open the floor with a question. What's your superpower as a founder?
I like this question. Your superpower, like, it's actually weird. Your superpower is literally like your skills. It's basically your skills. For me, my skills is marketing and sales. So my superpower is actually like convincing someone to buy from me. And for me, before I even, you can say, decided to go with Dimidos idea in general, I had that kind of like, what is it called in English? The arrogance, I guess it's called, if I'm not wrong, which is going to other businesses, act dumb, trying to sell them the app. I'm not sure if it's arrogance. The meaning is a lot of people kind of shy of actually doing sales or whatever. So my superpower is I'm not shy at all. I go to others. I know how to actually convince people to actually buy my product that wasn't even ready yet. And most of them actually paid to be on the waiting list. That when I actually say, you know what? This business model is actually the right thing. For me, this is my superpower, if that's what he actually meant.
Yeah, I think he was definitely pointing towards your specific superpower, and it makes sense. I mean, you're kind of the person that makes a connection almost immediately, and you just take it up with the person and convince them. It's like, you don't want this, you need this. So I definitely think that would be an awesome superpower to have. I see Vanya here also added a comment on it. Good points, would like to add. Ensure they share the same values as you. Also check that they aren't afraid to speak what's on their mind. She says her ex-business partner didn't want to create any disagreements, and they didn't know that they were on the same page in business. What would you say about that? What is your take on that?
Did she mean that he doesn't want to even do kind of like the contract sides, etc.?
I think he didn't make his opinion known.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted me to explain further. What I was saying was fundamental disagreements in how the business operates, and he didn't want to create any disagreements whatsoever, so he wasn't saying anything, and he just basically head nodding. It wasn't until much later I realized he wasn't even on the same page as me.
Oh, okay.
Business.
So
Yeah, that's what I said.
For me, before I even, like you can say, before I even had this co-founder, I gave him all the tasks that he should do, and I took all the tasks that I should do. Even if I can do his task, his side is something I do not usually touch. Not only that, about the disagreement part. If you cannot, open the hard discussions with him, it's actually better to not even work with him. For me, if we had a lot of hard discussions, especially let's talk equity, or let's talk tasks, or let's talk your team is doing let's say bad things, not well performing or whatever. You should actually handle the hard discussions, because without these hard discussions, actually the business will not operate. Everybody will fear the second side of maybe he will be angry or whatever. So I don't want to actually do this task. Probably it's a really good thing to do. Like, let's imagine this. You're trying to hire a new team member to do content creation, okay? Let's imagine this. You didn't even open any conversation with this co-founder, and you said, you know what? I don't want to actually upset him, because I don't know how he can actually react. After that, you didn't hire anybody who actually do something that's really important, and your business is going to be in a really small stage for a long time. Not only that, if he cannot handle hard discussions, how is he in a business world? I don't know if I actually answered the whole entire question.
Vanya, I'm not sure. Did that make sense to you? What was your take on his response?
It was just my comment. I was just making a comment as a lesson to share.
Oh, okay, understand you. She was trying to actually give her lesson. And usually also you should kind of have documents, the contracts, etc. between you and him, even if you trust him. Then the end of the day, like, try to as much as you can to protect yourself and protect him. That's also really important.
There's another question and another one coming up. MS asks, I'm not sure if even I understand the question, maybe you can. In regards to choosing your revenue ops teams, what's your opinion on that? I don't think, MS, are you able to unmute yourself and maybe Okay, he's going to send that question now.
What do you look for when a startup or a founder is hiring for someone? Say it is a marketer or say it is a revenue op agency like MSS. What are the qualities or what are the things you look for in your, what would be your ideal hire? What are the things in your checklist that you want them to take off?
Okay, now I understand it. Let's say if I'm hiring someone who does sales. Of course, what I usually do to actually make it really hard for them and really important, like to actually kind of, you can say, filter all the bad people from the good people. I make around 4 interviews to make sure that, okay, they did all of their tasks. Sometimes I even give them a week to work with me, kind of feel the whole entire feelings of the company in general, to actually make sure that this person is good. And then after that, I can sit him up, okay, that this guy is good. So what I even look for in the salesperson is way different than what we look for, let's say, in the designer. When you want to look for the salesperson, of course, you cannot actually look for someone who's shy. Of course, you do not want to look for someone, if he's speaking with Americans, you don't want him to have bad English. Like, for each role, there's the non-negotiable things, which is one of them, the sales things that I actually told you about. And also one of the most important thing that actually he's willing to actually do all of this kind of like sit down for the 8 hours or 10 hours or whatever that you actually set it up in the contract and actually do the work. Not someone who's sitting to just show you that, hey, I'm working, even if he's not working.
I was got a question from my side. So you've mentioned when we've chatted a couple of times, you've obviously managed a couple of major brand campaigns. Obviously, you're selling your own product and service. It's completely different than managing another brand. So what's the biggest shift in mindset when it comes to marketing yourself, in a sense, your own brand versus marketing a bigger brand campaign, if that makes sense? I'm not sure if I'm conveying the question now correctly.
No. It's actually, let's say when I was working with the bigger brands or even smaller brands, when I'm doing marketing in general, I was having really hard time to actually explain to them that why, let's say, this funnel works instead of the one that they are actually working. And I show them even proven numbers, etc. So I say, how dumb is this person? I'm showing him proven numbers. I'm showing him that I'm really good with this. Even like, let's say, Google Ads. I'm showing him all the entire proofs to actually use this marketing strategy or whatever. When it's become actually personal, now I actually understand it to them. Now I actually understand what they actually, like, why are they not even going with what is it called, like, with the decision from the first call? Because it's your own money, probably investor money, probably whatever, probably your friends and family's money. You actually have it as really personal if it failed or not. So for me, when I was as a marketing agency, I was like, okay, it's fine. Let me have, let's say I have $100,000 in marketing budget. Let me make 10,000 as testing things. Let's say A/B testing, and then testing in new formats, probably doing weird things, etc. When it become actually to me, how about we make it $2,000? You get the point? So you become less. You don't want to go to the risk mode. Of course, every single business owner have to have this kind of risky moves, etc. And he should actually take these hard decisions. But when it's actually become personal, your own money or something that is something to you, really become way different. So yeah, it's kind of like mindset thing instead of how I used to do marketing.
So it's not just posting on behalf of a brand, it's kind of investing so deep into the brand that you feel the same stress points that they feel.
Yeah.
If I understand that correctly.
Like for me, when I used to, let's imagine that I was doing content for them. I said, you know what? Let's make this content idea. And if it worked, good, we double down in it. And if it didn't work, it's fine. We can go with the different ideas that I have. And I see them just stressed out, etc. I tell them, nothing is to worry about. When it become actually to me, I said, you know what? I'm not sure if my brand image is going to be wrong or whatever, even if I know the whole entire marketing stages and this type of things. I know that it's not big of a deal, especially in the early stages. Nobody actually know you. You can post whatever you want. But still, like now, I can understand why are they actually worried about every single step and stressed so much, etc. Because it's really personal to them. And right now, it's personal to me.
Oh, that makes sense. No, thank you so much for answering that question. I see another question that popped up in the meantime from Affair is, what's the most important focus for a small business in your eyes? What's the first thing that they should focus on?
Like most of the companies, you should only focus right now on sales. Let's say my product is not ready yet. Because for me, as Dimados, my product is not fully ready. We are in the research mode. We are giving the early access for for some people. Till this day, you will see me going to my target audience, trying to sell them the product, even just put them in waiting lists. Even if they are in the waiting list, they will not even use the product. But till this day, I'm trying to have as much people as possible. So when I actually can release my product, I actually have probably 300 or even 1,000 clients that is waiting for me to actually sell him my product. So basically, yes, you should care about your product to look good and your MVP is really awesome and this type of things. But if you can keep just doubling down on content or even in sales in general, that's the main reason. Because most of the trends right now is actually B2B, SaaS startups, etc. If you can, as much as you can, to put people in your waiting lists, you can actually sleep at night and feeling good for your startup. Because if you don't have anybody, any product market fit, etc., you kind of like working and not sure if this actually can be sold. Because if nobody buys it, your 3 or 6 months went literally wasted. So just focus on sales, especially in the first stages, and then you can actually automate it while you actually have a team and this type of things. That's what I see.
Oh yeah, no, that is definitely awesome. No, that's a very good point that you've got there. You can work a lot on a product, but if you haven't sold it yet, there's no point in working on it further. I love that. I think we can take maybe one more question. I see Sabir. Sorry, I might be mispronouncing your name, but I see he's still got one more question left. When selling to small to medium businesses, should you try to close in the first call or the second call? And how do you identify whether you're speaking to the final decision maker that you should be closing with?
Look, about the final, what is this called? In the small businesses, the decision maker usually taking the phones, and basically you don't want to keep pushing when he is not ready to buy. Like it's kind of like sales logic. If you see the person, let's say the lead, if you see him not really investing in, you try as much as you can to tell him, you know what, let's make another call and the second call will be valuable or whatever. Like try kind of give another sauce in the second call. So he kind of become more interested. For me, what I used to do is in the early, like in the probably first 20 people who actually became in my, waiting list, I used to join the first call with them, tell them like if they are interested, etc. Not only that, when I see them not really interested, I tell him, by the way, because I probably wasted some of your time, my name is Johar, I have been in the marketing industry, etc., etc., etc. I would love to do a free marketing consulting that I can actually give you in the second call. Because that's the value that I have, which is I can review his marketing strategy. Because I have nothing, like I have no work, I have nothing to do with him, because still I have no product. Other people, they might actually have something to do with them in the second call. So I can tell you, you don't need to actually waste your time in consulting or whatever, reviewing his marketing or whatever. No, just do the second call and give him another sauce so he can actually be more interested. And when can you actually close the deal? Is it the first call or the second call? If you see him interested in the first call, that's fine, just shoot your shot. That's the idea.
That makes 100% sense. Sabir, I'm not sure if you got that answer, if it was something that also made sense to you. But yeah, no, it was awesome. I love the way you're able to display that kind of background of a founder, that leadership skills. It really shows, and you're definitely powerful when it comes to that, especially if you've got so many years from the age of 8. Obviously, we're selling McDonald's toys, but I guess that's how it starts. So yeah, it's a big thanks for taking a chance out of your day to tell us about this, to share some of your skills when it comes to marketing, sales, and leadership. I definitely think a lot of the members, a lot of the audience actually found it very, very interesting. And yeah, I'm definitely sure you're going to have a couple of more questions to ask. It seems like the questions haven't stopped yet. So definitely, yeah. Hopefully we get to see you soon again on the channels.
Yeah.
It would be awesome to see you again here.
All the time. I would be there all the time.
Okay, then also big thanks to everyone who joined. Thanks to everyone who gave their comments, gave their questions. We really appreciated it. And this was awesome, man. Thank you so much. We should definitely do it again soon. Thank you guys so much. Appreciated this evening.
Absolutely. See you guys. And also, I wish I actually provided as much value as I can. And this, and you can say, interview was really valuable for anybody, at least. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening.